Hey, welcome back to the 12th episode of 11 Bang Gang. I hope I got that right, 12 or 13. We'll find out. So today I got a dude that I really have been looking forward to talking to, who's been on the queue for a little bit. His name's Carlos.
Munoz, yeah.
Munoz. God dang, I should have asked.
Hey, don't worry about it, man.
I should have asked you before. Anyway, okay, so you are Army veteran, served, did 4 deployments, 3 to Iraq, 1 to Haiti, and you are now running like a Veterans for Cannabis podcast. So it feels right, since I haven't talked about it yet, I don't think on here, is how do we feel about the administration declassifying marijuana down? What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm actually kind of funny about this because I'm not really big for recreational marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just going to turn into alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do believe in the medical aspect and the benefits of it, and it has shown, right? I think the reclassification is a huge medical win because it's going to allow us to research that in legally and in a more advanced approach.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people said it'll change the medical side of it, but it won't change the recreational side because it's still classified somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but as far as that's concerned, or how it changed it, but okay, dude. Well, let's get into it, man. Like, where'd you grow up at?
So, my life is kind of funny.
All right, let's roll.
Because my dad was a Vietnam veteran, right?
Okay.
I'm Puerto Rican. My mom is born and raised in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, New York, right? So, again, my dad being a veteran, that changed the things a little bit, So I was born in Puerto Rico. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, right? Very early in life, we moved to Puerto Rico because I was ill as a kid. They believe it was I end up, some doctors believe I'm an Asian orange baby.
Interesting.
Right. And there's a lot of stuff about that out there anyhow. But I was born sick. We moved to Puerto Rico. I grew up my first about 12 years in Puerto Rico. Right. And it was kind of funny. My dad, Vietnam veteran, 80s.
Yeah.
We didn't know what the hell PTSD was. Right. My mom, again, practically, I'm not going to call her a single mom because my dad was great, but my dad was in and out of the hospital, right? Right. It is what it is, right? When I was about 12, we moved to Wisconsin because my dad ended up having cancer. Wisconsin had the best, at that time, VA for cancer.
Interesting.
I did my high school here.
Yeah.
Right. Once I was done with high school, man, I joined DR. I knew what I was going to do. So
no, well, I got a quick question. So I asked this just so listeners can kind of get an idea of what timeline they're thinking on when they're hearing these stories. How old are you?
Yeah. I am 43. I'm
43. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you're almost 10 years older than me. 8. But so second question is, it must have been a culture shock to move from Puerto Rico to Wisconsin. That had to have been pretty wild.
No.
Not really?
It was not. No.
That's interesting.
I hate change, but I can adapt quick.
Yeah.
I mean, again, having a Vietnam veteran as a dad.
Yeah, that.
We grew up my mom owned a bar. That's how we used to do, So I grew up in a bar. So my life was very hectic very early. You know,
So you wasn't like the normal Puerto Rico kid essentially
no,
rolling into Wisconsin. You
no,
had a little bit of,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I laugh about it because I was actually serving beers at the age of 5.
God.
It was a family business.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
my teenager high school sisters were serving beer and cooking in the back. My dad was probably selling dope somewhere in the area. You know,
Man,
a man supervising the bar. So it was an interesting childhood.
it was definitely unconventional, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you got so 9/11 happens while you're still in high school?
Mhm.
It did.
No, I actually just left high school and
Okay.
actually have joined already.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
So that had to have
So
hit you hard because your mom's from Brooklyn, right?
yeah,
So she's got that, probably family still up there near New York.
yes.
So that had to have been a pretty big deal. Now you joined the military probably because did you join because your dad was in the army or just because you were like, fuck it, I ain't got nothing else to do?
No, it's actually a family business,
Okay.
and that's what I call it. My great grandpa think World War One. My grandpa was one Korea and the other one World War One.
Wow.
My dad Vietnam, my uncle Vietnam. My sister. Then me.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
My girlfriend at the time, who's my wife today, actually joined as well.
wow. So it's just an entire
Yeah,
family of service. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
I call it a family business.
Yeah. Most definitely. Okay. So where do you go? Where do you go for basic training?
So I was a dummy. I was not good in school. And honestly, I was not good in test taking. So I had an issue passing the ASVAB.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, um, so I ended up making the score, and I joined, and I only had a couple of jobs to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose a logistics. So I ended up going to Fort Jackson.
Mm. Okay. All right. So you grew up in a family with the military, and I ask this to every single guest. This is one of my guaranteed questions. You already knew about the military from your family. So how was going to basic compared to what you had it in your head? How was it compared to that?
Honestly, I was right at home.
Okay. Okay.
Like since when I got out of the bus, it was okay. This is home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hectic. You had to be on your feet. Yeah.
So you thrive in that environment
Oh
is
yeah,
what it sounds like. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I had to learn. See, I was the opposite. I had to learn to love it.
Mhm,
Don't get me wrong. Like I worked. Like I had a lot
mhm,
of work ethic as a kid, so like the work didn't bother me. The physical aspect didn't
mhm.
bother me, but the not the mental games, but the mental, I don't know, just everybody being 100% all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that,
yeah,
that threw me off. I was like, okay, hold up. Like, that was something I had to
yeah.
get used to. So, but I ended
You know,
up
I,
liking.
I remember that point down the road. Okay,
Okay.
because that point is very hard that we gotta hit.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay.
We'll remember that. All right. So
Yeah.
where do you go after Fort Jackson? So you say you do logistics. Where you go after that?
So I did Fort Jackson, Fort Lee, and then I went to Fort Leonard to do like additional training.
Okay. Okay. All
And
right.
from there, I go to Germany.
Okay. So you went to Germany. Now, do you get stationed in Germany?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What year is that?
This is 2002.
2002.
So I got there September 2002.
Okay. Okay. How was Germany? Did you like it or?
Man, again, do you remember that you're just saying about going 100 all the time? That was Germany.
Oh, okay.
You drink, party all night, wake up, go running, go work, do it again.
Do it again. God, how long were you there for?
I was there for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you deploy to Iraq during that time or no?
So yeah, so I got to Baumholder, Germany. I got assigned to a infantry unit, Second Battalion, Sixth Infantry Unit.
Okay.
We were a support platoon in an infantry unit, so that ended up getting really interesting down the road.
Okay.
Um, so I got there and right away was, hey, we're going to Iraq.
Straight up, right off
Yeah.
the rip. God,
Yeah, I think it was September, so October, November, December. About 4 months later, I was in Iraq.
man. Did you go on that? You must have went somewhere near the initial invasion, or was it a little bit after?
No, we went there initial. We were all waiting in Kuwait. About it, they were pushing forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get to Kuwait and you get into Iraq, what's your first impressions of Iraq and the Middle East? You never been there. I'm assuming. Your dad's like, I went to Vietnam, but nobody's ever been to the Middle
Yeah.
East. So what was your first impressions of that?
I enjoy westerns. Like I'm a big wild herb kind of guy, right? That's what it reminded me of too.
Really?
The Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, just imagine that we get to Kuwait, there's a couple of, scares that we have to put all the gas stuff on,
Yeah.
and then we drive to Iraq and we drive into Iraq in soft shell, freaking, the vest, our Cavalier
Yeah.
was, we didn't even have plates. They were like Vietnam era, scrap metal freaking jackets.
Yeah, I think when y'all went into Iraq on the initial invasion, I think
Mhm.
y'all had the same flak jackets that we wore in like boot camp in
Yeah,
2008 when I
those
joined.
ones.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
those
the
ones.
the yeah, man, that's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they didn't get up armor till like OIF 2 or 3.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah. So that's what we had. Again, it was the Wild West. We were stealing armor from other people. All the people were stealing our. It was just like, okay, you gotta take care of your people. So this
Yeah,
is what we're gonna do, right? So it was just the Wild West, and the same thing driving through Iraq. Things that you see on TV, that's what it felt like,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, dude, yeah, I haven't asked anybody this. I've only talked to a couple of guys who are on
Mhm.
OIF 1. So for guys my age, because it was a 20-year
Mhm.
war, we knew what to expect because we grew up watching
Right.
the war on television. So I guess my question to you is like, what did you guys expect? Because you didn't know. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
knew, and there was no plan. Like, I mean, what did they tell y'all? Like, we're just gonna roll in here, look for the weapons
Yeah.
of mass destruction, and
Pretty much they say, hey, we're gonna go, we're gonna take over. The goal was to get to Baghdad,
right,
right?
right.
So get to Baghdad, and do what you gotta do, and that's what it was.
So I think how was it getting to Baghdad though? Was it pretty? Did y'all meet a lot of resistance on the way to Baghdad, or was it?
We did, but what was specifically about our convoy specifically hard was a dust storm.
Mm,
We pushed in during a dust storm at night wearing MVGs. So although we had some resistance, we had a couple of pops here and there, whatever. There was a lot of people already like dropping their weapons, but it was the freaking dust storm that made things very difficult.
man, yeah. For those of you who are listening, and maybe you've never been to the Middle East, I dealt with them dust storms in Kuwait, not in Afghanistan. Never,
Mhm.
never. I don't think I really dealt with one in Afghanistan, but in Kuwait, dude, we had a dust storm, and I didn't understand that you can't see nothing. I mean, not
Yeah,
even your hand in front of your face.
yeah,
It's wild, dude. Like people don't. It's just like it is in the movies. Like when they make it looks like that. It's wild.
yeah. I remember the only thing we were following it was the truck that we had was a 5 ton, right?
Yeah.
So in the tail light, you got like a little part that is for the MVGs is like a
IR
infrared
light.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I was following the person in front of me. I was that close to them.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you're just playing basically blind. Nobody
I
knows where
mean,
they're
yeah,
going.
because
Man.
I mean, we would have got lost, right? And
Yeah.
this is like, it was hairy. I mean, like I said, the resistance was there.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lot of people already was like, okay, we give up, like
Yeah.
going. So ORF1 was not really significant for me, with the exception of the living conditions.
Yeah. So how was it when you get to I'm assuming you went to Baghdad International,
Mhm.
Camp Liberty. Was it Camp
No,
Liberty?
I didn't. I went to the Cross Sabers.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how was that?
As you can imagine, man, we had a little morgue that ended up being our dorms later on that year.
Man.
So we were putting dead bodies pretty much in the basement, just put, and that's what it was, a lot of like, okay, intel, going to palace and start going into towns, create your cordons, your checkpoints,
Yeah.
establish your basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that was OIF1, right? But then Fallujah happened.
Mm. Mm. So you went to Fallujah on your second
No,
one?
this is I was with First Army. We got extended to 17 months.
Oh, jeez. Okay,
So
hold on,
here
wait
we,
though. I do gotta back up only
yeah.
because you told me. Did you get married during this? You got married before this deployment.
I got married during my leave between going to Baghdad, going to Germany, and basic training.
Okay. So no
Yeah.
kids though. You're just married?
My wife is pregnant
Oh,
at that
okay.
time.
Okay. All right.
So yeah,
So she probably freaking out though, because
yeah.
you're like,
She
hey,
had, she, yeah. She didn't. Nobody heard from us for about 6 months.
man, that's
No
wild.
letters, no phones, no like. We had the family group.
Yeah.
They were passing messages, "Hey, we doing good," but stuff like that. But it was very close tight.
Yeah.
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 You
Man,
know,
that sucks.
yeah. Real life fire guard. Like in the roof or putting fighting positions and having it was real.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
wait, I
this.
mean, OIF1 built the
Yeah.
combat because, the
Yeah.
insurgency came in a little later at the end of
Yeah.
OIF1. It started to stir back up. But after the
Yeah.
initial, like you said, the initial shock and
Mhm.
awe, a bunch of people surrendered. Things kind of got
Yeah.
peaceful. Bush is out there saying combat operations are over. Yeah, good luck, baby, because it went another 9.5 years after that.
And then Fallujah happened.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that changed the way we saw Iraq
yeah.
moving forward. Period.
Right, right.
Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we actually had the first ID casualty,
Mm,
our unit, right in Baghdad.
yeah,
Marines lost Fallujah, and at that time we already had a company. Charlie Company was already in. Some people were already in Baghdad, in Germany. Some people were in the plane. Some people were on the boats taking our equipment back, and it was turn around.
mm, mm. So hold on, wait, real quick. I'm gonna cover this IED.
Mhm.
So you guys took an IED casualty. Was this your first casualty of the deployment?
We believe yes, it was. It was
Okay.
it was an ID.
Now, did
Yeah,
that change the attitude where you guys? Because I remember the first dude that stepped on an IED in Afghanistan. We were like, shit, this is
yeah,
real now, homie. You know what I'm saying?
no,
It changes
yeah,
the attitude because it's like, well,
yeah,
it's not. It kind of stops being fun after the first guy gets
yeah.
hurt. You know?
Yeah, no, it got real. I mean, by that time, we already had, a couple of motors here, a couple of pops
Mm-hmm.
here, a couple of, they have gone to start taking, government of, there were operations happening, and as a support element, again, the infantry, the units was very, we didn't have that many people.
Yeah.
So we were using everybody for everything.
Right.
That was, it was like that. So it got to be real, real quick, real
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. Okay. So do you guys support the Fallujah operation?
So that's when it got funny, right? So Fallujah dropped. We got the call that we got extended. I remember gathering in this place, and the sergeant major came in. Sergeant Major Bob just passed away. God rest his soul. I remember saying something along the lines like, "Guys, we don't got a choice. Let's just go over there, kill everybody, and come back home."
Mm.
And that was the message. And start. I think one of the vehicles, because we were the tanks went in first, and you had soft vehicles, so they
Right.
went in stages, right? Then it was the support element, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were taking big fuel tankers, big trucks with ammunition, and ultimately that's what they were starting to attack.
Yeah.
you know so it was within hours. It was initial push, take over Ramadi with the tanks. Soft element went in and start clearing buildings, and then they need fuel, they need water. We were doing ins and out, right? Um yeah, and that's when Iraq overall started getting really hasty. That's when they would start attacking the little bases that we were on.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know yeah you know
Yeah.
yeah
So, like for you guys, yeah, because I mean, you said your logistics, but like at
yeah
this point in Iraq, and I talked about this to the last guest because the last guest was he actually was on OIF-1. He was actually Army Corps of Engineers. He's the one that built the
yeah
ECPs. But
yeah
like the thing is like I told him, a lot of guys, especially now that
mhm,
aren't that now that this war is over, a lot of guys will be like, "Well, you're not infantry, so you're a pogue, dude."
yeah
But especially in Iraq, dude.
yeah
I mean, the logistics guys, man, y'all
yeah
got messed up all the time.
biggest concepts misconception, because at least for my specific experience, pro platoon, second battalion, sixth infantry, uh it was going on, man. We were recovering, the vehicles after being blown up. We were helping recover bodies. We were doing cordons. We were doing search. We were doing ID routes. But the
Yeah,
most dangerous part was taking a big fuel tanker to this small, forward base,
yeah.
forward bases. I mean, there were RPGs at points that were skipping from the
Oh
tanker.
man.
Like,
Oh
I literally
shit.
pissed my pants. Like, I seen it in my mirror, and I'm like, I just pissed my pants. Like,
Oh. Yeah, see that's the when I was in Afghanistan, we had like a little forward operating
mhm,
position, like you're talking about, two football fields wide, just a little square. And what we had tanks, but because we
mhm,
had tanks, we had two huge fuel bladders. But so every
yeah,
so often you'd have a tanker truck come in and fill it up, but everything else
yeah,
we usually got by helicopter. But like I remember me and the other infantry guys talking, and we were like, dude, I would rather do 100 ground
yeah.
patrols than drive a fuel tanker in a combat zone, bro.
It is an experience. It builds a lot of heavy balls. Let's say like
Yeah.
that. Um, Yeah, not only that, I mean, we were taking ammunition to the front lines.
Yeah.
Our tankers, I mean, we had a 50 cal in the tanker, just mount in the tanker. And it
Yeah.
was, a lot of times it was like a tank, like Abram.
Hmm.
in the front apron, in the back a Humvee, and then the tanker, and they used to escort us to town, but we had a gunner pulling. I mean, it was as real as it gets.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the other thing too is like, especially Iraq more than anything, there
Mhm.
was no front lines. It's like,
No,
okay, each little PB had its security bubble, but
yeah,
in between there, it's the Wild West, dude. The
yeah.
insurgents are everywhere.
And that's why I call it the Wild West. I mean, like I always describe it to a freaking Western, like stuff that you see there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was interesting. So that first deployment, I 17 months,
Mhm.
got home. I mean, at one point they put us in Mamadia, I think that's the name of the town, a place called San Michael's. And
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, it was in the triangle, of death, right? So they had a
Yeah.
compound that we took over. The crazy part about that little compound, they used to call it San Michael's. Yeah. And it was so bad they were doing 2 weeks rotations,
Wow.
right? I mean, I'm talking about, anywhere from 20 to 30 motors per day, to the point that we got used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't move. We had a big mass casualty, because we had a company filling up sandbags, right?
Mm.
So we can put it in the roof because we were staying in a chicken factory, a metal factory, and rounds were good coming in, right? So, we decided, okay, let's get sandbags up there. So boom. So we had, a whole, a company here, a company filling up sandbags. And by luck, we had one of the biggest motors attack, which landed right in the middle of the sandbag filling people. So
Oh,
we had a whole company that took a shit,
dang.
you know,
Holy
you
cow.
know, we, uh, um, we had a guy, a mechanic that was taking a poop.
Mm.
He hit it right there. It went through the porta potty. He got shrapnel in the asshole.
No.
Yeah,
That was
I
my
remember,
worst fear, dude. That
yeah.
was my
Oh
worst
man,
fear every time.
I remember that day specifically because we just got from a mission. We just got home from a mission, right?
Yeah.
We have in a platoon meeting in front of the building, and the first round was an actually RPG they hit about 10 feet above us.
Y'all were right.
And from there, just went, and nobody got hit. Nobody got hit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but what's funny, later on, when I started taking, because we didn't have change of clothes, we had the same uniform the whole time.
Mhm.
When we started taking our uniform home, we were full of holes. Your crash, your things, your
Yeah.
socks, your under. I mean, it got to the point that we were there for so long that we didn't have no underwear left. We were just going there, rolled up, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the difference between like the big bases, and where
Mhm.
they had like showers and all this, and it's like, man,
Uh,
dude, out there, bro, we didn't have laundry. We didn't
no.
have none of that shit. And you're right. Like, I mean, y'all
Mhm.
basically wore them clothes off of your bodies.
Yeah.
I
It,
mean,
it,
that's
wa- it,
wild.
wa- yeah, it was like I said, I often you say, again, there's a lot of trauma there,
Mhm.
but I had the coolest 20, who like at one point we were sitting in a subshell Humvee cargo with a office chair in the cargo, strapped down with a 240 in top of it. That was our truck, you know. I, like who does that, right? That was like some bad shit, like,
Bro.
and how we made it that first deployment. I don't know how that happened, honestly.
That's one of them things where it's I think that one of the things about the US military is like we have this attitude where we're just like we're going to make it work no matter what. If we
Yeah,
got to take a 240 and an office
yeah,
chair and make
no,
a turret out of it, screw it, bro. That's what we're going to
no.
do. Like, yeah, that's tight.
Yeah. I mean, we had towers to pull security. I mean, stuff that you see in a Vietnam movie, but still, it was early Iraq, so we were still using a lot of those techniques,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so when do you get what year you get back from that deployment? Well, let's see. You went in what year was that when you went? So you do 17
02,
months. Oh
oh
two.
02,
So
early
yeah.
oh 02,
Okay,
like
so when
March. Yeah,
when you get back it's probably what 2003.
August
Uh,
2000. No, I'm sorry, no, 2003 we deployed.
right. Okay.
March
Yeah.
oh 03. We came back in August oh 04.
Oh four. Okay. You come back. Do you go? Well, you're not stationed in Germany. Do you go back to Germany?
Yeah,
Okay.
we go back to Germany.
Okay.
You know, yeah,
Now, do you deploy with that unit again, or do you go somewhere else?
less
Okay.
than a year later.
Okay, so where do y'all go the second time? No, wait, are you doing the same job? Are you still doing logistics?
So this way it becomes interesting. We still support platoon.
Okay, got you.
But when we got to Iraq, and we already knew this, right? So they took us to Huntsville. We did like a little, cross training, on weapons, tactics, convoys. We already knew that we were not going to do the job.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
one of the biggest reasons why is because the fuel logistic was contracted by KBR.
Okay.
So there was no need for, you know, really logistics, with the exception of ammo and recoveries. So we
Okay.
use a flat base to recover ammo. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
where do y'all go in Iraq the second time?
So we end up going back to Camp Falcon.
Okay.
I'm back there.
Okay. All right. How is it compared? So when you left the first time, it was heating up, got hot there towards the end. How is it the second time you go?
Wild West times 17.
Yeah, because now things are really getting hot in
Oh,
Iraq.
now things are, now we're starting to introduce the EFPs.
Yeah.
We're starting to introduce bigger IDs, pleasure plates.
Mm-hmm.
We're introducing RPG and a lot of sneak attacks, a lot of roof attacks, because
Yeah.
we were in Baghdad, right? Motor rounds, they had a technique. They used to do a drive-by on us. They used to have a motor round in back of a Toyota, and as the Toyota goes, they used to poof, poof,
Mm-hmm.
poof. So yeah, it was on.
So what's the op tempo on that deployment look like? Are you guys running pretty heavy ops, or is it kind of a
So
little chill?
running 12-hour patrols 7 days a week.
Man. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not including like security, because there was still stuff happening.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
we did, yeah.
y'all are essentially, so this second deployment, you're essentially an infantry convoy that's just delivering ammo and
Yeah.
recovering vehicles. I mean, that's all you're
But
doing.
no. We actually convoying. Actually, we had Humvees, and we were doing a lot of patrols. We were doing a lot of ID clearance,
Oh,
supporting the infantry units and areas, older with, trucks, bodies.
yeah.
Sometimes we did the outer perimeter patrols,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of but it's still, yeah, it was as real as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
If if one of the companies needed for example, somebody to go to a observation point to support, the shooter and the spotter,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had that happening, but it was a lot of patrols, a lot of Humvee patrols.
Yeah.
With 50 cows, 240. We ultimately we were playing cops.
Mm, yeah.
That's ultimately what it was. A lot of cap jobs.
Now,
Looking for people. Yeah.
how did you feel on that second deployment in 05? How did you feel Did you feel like the Iraqi people wanted us there, or do you feel like they were ready to get rid of us at that point?
I think there was a lot of fear. I think the Iraqi people generally they were very nice,
Yeah.
but at that time we were getting individuals from different countries, coming as a I don't know if we call it Al Qaeda or whatever we want to call it, but a lot of the attacks that we had was coming from other entities,
Yeah.
and that was intel.
Yeah,
And then,
that I think at that time there was a huge influx of
yeah,
foreign fighters. Huge
yeah,
influx.
and the locals they were just afraid, so they were not saying nothing or housing them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so uh, we have to understand that I just finished doing a 17-month deployment, very hot, very heavy, and then we go back. You know,
Mhm.
it's like less than a year later, right? Um, so we're not doing good.
Mhm.
We are not doing good. We are driving. I remember driving through traffic, hitting anything that got in between us.
Mm.
Shoot first, ask questions. I mean, there were times, and I understand. I understand where we're coming from, right? We want to go home.
Right.
And we were losing an average of one person every other day. Mostly was like IDs taking a vehicle, or at that time, the chain of command was we were trying to win the hearts and mind and trying to figure out the tactics to beat the IDs. So at one time they did, well, guys, you need to go get out of your car, get your binos, and make sure you identify the ID before you call it in. So we have people that they got killed doing that. God bless their heart. I don't want to say their name here, but we lost two great men like that just by
Mm.
and so we end up getting we had a lot of remorse, and I'm pretty sure our command felt that too, and they have remorse that's their own. I know the command took that death is specifically very hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue is the Hearts and Minds campaign.
Yeah.
It worked in some places, but the
Yeah.
problem is Hearts and Minds didn't work against an ideology. It was never going to work against an ideology. Like
You know,
it
yeah.
doesn't.
And I understand, we're trying to get off the locals because it's not the locals doing this, right?
Right.
But it got to the point that we just didn't know who was who. And it
Yeah.
was, they were not only attacking Americans and, your allies, they were also attacking your locals.
Yeah.
One time we had a Catholic priest, they had, not priest, nuns.
Mhm.
They had like a little orphanage. And we had a relationship with them. I remember me personally going there with, you know, and having dinner with the nuns at the local orphanage. And one morning, wake up and they were all burning and they were all executed, all
Dang.
of them, you
God,
know. And it was like, what the, like, really?
dude. So, is there any time during the second deployment, just because I usually ask this once a podcast, was there any time in that second deployment that you were like, it was a situation where you were like, yeah, this is it. I'm not going to make it out of this
Oh,
situation?
that was every day.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I was very comfortable in my skin
Mhm.
with death. I accepted that I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, man, like cuz out of 12 podcasts I've done, it's funny how I hear a lot of guys say I went there with the sole like I'd made it up in my mind that I wasn't going to walk back out of here.
Mhm.
Like, but that's how, I mean, when you do that job, you gotta be, you have
Yeah,
to say, look, I'm going into a combat zone and there's a
yeah.
dang good chance I'm not going to walk back out of it, you know?
Now, I gotta add this because this is very important. That was my dream. I wanted to die in combat. I idolized that idea. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm down. I mean, I was reckless by that point. I mean, yeah, man, it
Yeah.
was just, I don't think we were thinking half of the time because we were doing things that were, I should have died at least 5 times.
Man. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's how it is. Like, I mean, that's what John, the very first guy I had on the podcast, that's what he said. He was like, dude, I
Yeah.
was like, I want to die in combat. Like,
Yeah.
I want that cool headstone
Hell yeah.
yeah, like, you know what I
Fuck
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. And he was
Let's
like,
do
dude,
it.
that's what I wanted, bro. But that's what it takes, man. Those are the
Yeah.
guys that you want fighting wars. You want the
Yeah.
guys that ain't got a problem riding on this helicopter behind me. You know what I mean? Like,
And it's crazy, right? A lot of you can ask people in my unit. Some people were in special forces, some people went like crazy CIA freaking intelligence shit.
mhm.
But everybody in that battalion, especially HAC, the headquarters battalion, that we still have scouts, we had motors. I
Mhm.
mean, it was an infantry company,
Oh yeah.
right? And by the end of that deployment, they realized, we can fight too, motherfuckers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
there were times, we just got in the truck because some other people just got hit. And we got the call, jump on the truck. We got the 50 cal. I'm mounting the 50 cal. I'm ready for this. Let's
Yeah.
do this. And they were my brothers, man, right there. And this pub thing, and I understand, it's a cultural thing, right?
Oh yeah.
But I tell a lot of this, especially younger veterans, I go like, boys, you don't got shit on me. At least not yet. At least not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, yeah.
It's funny because I went to I lap moved. So after I left the infantry, I went to the air wing. And
Yeah.
so I went to be a mechanic working on helicopters. But I had a combat action ribbon and I had,
Yeah.
so like I had a stack of ribbons because I had deployed
Yeah.
twice already. And so as a corporal, the gunnies over there were like, where have you been, dude? Because
That's how it was, So, I did that deployment. That deployment was hairy. I was hurt, IDs. It was just, it became very normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very hard for people to understand. It became very, very normal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hit this again. You said earlier it was the go, 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 go.
Yeah.
It just became normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
So how long do y'all do on that second one?
we did actually about 12 months on the dot.
Okay, so do you go home and see your wife halfway through this?
Funny, my wife was pregnant again. So this time I made it to my daughter's birth.
Okay, cool.
First time I missed my son's birth. And I think it took like 3 weeks for me to get home.
Okay.
I mean, it was like real life stuff that you see in TV, with you got to run into the helicopter and, hold on tight because there's RPG, being shot every time a helicopter passed. I mean, it was real stuff, right? The second deployment, it was normal.
Okay.
You got these people there, but this time, they have deployed like us, 27 months with like 9 months in between. But that's including training. That's
Right.
including work. I mean, that's everything. So really, I was home less than 3 months. So we were like, our mind was just going. I mean, shoot first, ask questions later.
But see, the problem is the problem is, and I'm going to throw this in there. Just I know we're not. You got 2 more deployments to go, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this in there because the problem is, and I've talked about this multiple times, is that when you're with the boys in the
Mhm.
unit, right? And you guys are on the deployment rotations. After you get back from combat, yeah, you'll have some PTSD. You'll kind of be messed up, right? You kind of fucked up or whatever. But the problem is you're still with the boys and you're still in the op tempo.
Man,
You know what I mean? And you don't
and
really get all that messed up junk until later,
let
you
me tell
know?
you, at that time, because we were, I mean, we were on edge.
Yeah,
And let's just say we were not sleeping. It was just normal. So we ended up playing a lot of Monopoly in the downtime, a lot of PT, a lot of freaking. But it got to the point that they were starting to prescribe us pills
yeah.
to sleep, pills to calm the nerves. Uh,
Mhm.
um, and there might or might not be alcohol in the area. Okay, you
Yeah,
know, so pills and alcohol became, pain meds
yeah,
became a way of life.
yeah. Man,
And not only, now I'm gonna speak for myself, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. I will look up Command because when we came back, Command was fucked up.
yeah,
A great Command. I love great, probably the best unit I was because they emphasized training,
right,
right?
right.
And they trained everybody, and we were cross trained. I mean, I learned how to do freaking some crazy medical stuff to because that's what we were doing. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
we had to learn. You know, I was 50 cal was my baby.
Mhm.
With my M4, and I had a 9 mil. And that's what it was. I never did my job on the second deployment.
Quick question, only because I have forgotten to ask this
Yeah.
question in a couple of podcasts.
Mhm.
Because you were early, so I don't get to ask this question to the
Yeah.
later dudes. Did y'all have ACOGs at first?
Some folks did.
Some okay, okay,
I had a CCO personally,
okay,
right? But a lot of the line units had ACOGs.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know because I knew like the weird thing is even in 2008, we
Mhm.
shot I shot on the range in boot camp with iron
Mhm.
sights. And then the
Yeah.
first time I went to the fleet in '08, I still shot with iron sights. I didn't
Yeah.
get an ACOG until like right before that deployment in
No.
'09. Yeah.
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 No. No. Yeah. Yeah. It was. If you want, I'm gonna give you. There's a major event that happened, and it is on YouTube, right?
Okay.
It's called a Falcon Aha blowout. It was the biggest ammunition holding point in front, literally and figuratively, less than 200 meters in front of our barracks, and it was hit with a mortar round.
Ooh.
We're talking about $2.5 million, if not more than that, just
Good
cooking off for about 3 days.
God.
You know,
Holy cow.
and people got hit.
Yeah.
We had to evacuate from the front building to the back building because there was gas and artillery rounds like flying off into the building.
Holy.
So I remember saying like, and I'm on my PT shorts with all my stuff on, and I remember, hey, we need to go to the back of the building.
Yeah. Holy shit.
You know,
How long
so
that you said it cooked off for 3 days?
it was 3 days, my man.
Man,
It,
that's
it, it was like a very interesting 3 days. A
yeah,
lot of Monopoly. A lot of Monopoly.
I bet. See, the thing is, you can't put it out. Like, how do you put it out? You can't. You
Yeah.
just got to let it burn.
We end up having fun I mean,
Yeah,
the first 24 hours were bad because we were getting hit. Like,
yeah,
it was bad. Like, watch the video if you can, and you
yeah.
will understand, right? Uh, but then after the second day, the booms and the gas and the cell phone, the rounds cooking off. We already know stay inside, pee on the freaking bottle. But that time we were just fucked up in the head because we're not sleeping,
Right.
right? We're playing pranks on each other, teabagging people when you fall asleep, drawing on people's face, fucking people getting into fights. I'm pretty, might not be a lot of alcohol, and I'm pills, and, you know, yeah,
I mean, yeah, because the thing is you're coping. You're
yeah,
coping. I mean, you don't know you're fucked up. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you might assume you are, but then somebody's like, "Hey, how you doing?" You're like, "I'm fine, bro.
yeah.
I'm good. Good."
Our backs, everybody's back was shot
Oh, I bet.
because by the 10th month, right? Imagine you're doing 12-hour patrols 7 days a week for 7 months. And when you sit down in those Humvees with the
Mm,
biggest plate and ID hitches, there was a small ID that moved you enough, but it did a number. So our bag was already shot.
yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you, man, I was in active code and most of my second deployment.
Man, that's wild. God.
And it was prescribed
Yeah. Yeah.
by
But
the bottle.
the thing is too, at that time that this is the first war we've really been in. It's since Vietnam.
Yeah,
And then you don't know. And the other thing is we learned later on was all those explosions, because I have a TBI
yeah.
from getting blown up in Afghanistan, and like the
Well,
thing
yeah.
is you don't realize all those explosions that are going off are just hammering your brain, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah, he got
We
knocked
were,
out.
yeah, we were getting hit every day. Small arms, IDs. I mean, it was an everyday thing,
Man.
and that's not including the motor rounds and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So by this third deployment, our back is just knees already shot, and they're prescribing pain. And remember, 2002 at this time, actually, it was a new thing.
Mm. Mm.
Right. So we didn't know exactly at that time. They believe that less than 1% will get addicted.
Oh, see, okay, because this is before the whole pain clinic thing in Florida went down, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
My
This is
my bro,
yeah,
the pills, man, they were being prescribed to deal with sleep pain, chronic pain, headaches.
yeah. And the pharmaceutical companies, I remember this, were like, oh, it's not addictive, not addictive. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
And a lot of my peers, end up getting like heavily addicted
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
yeah. And
Man,
I'm me, for the next 10 years, pills and alcohol was a way of lifestyle.
man, dude. Okay,
You know?
I'm gonna get I'm gonna get on to this third deployment, because
Okay, let's do this. Yeah.
we're probably gonna have more on the after of these. So
Yes, sir.
okay, so you get back from that second deployment. What year is this now?
Now this is like 2006.
2006. Okay,
Right.
you get back. How's the family? Are you getting along with your wife?
No, I was very angry.
Okay. Now, are you still in Germany, or are you back in the United States?
This time I'm still in Germany.
Okay. Okay. Cool. She lives there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Cool.
So, now keep in mind, right? It is Germany with a bunch of, 18, 19, all the way to 55, just coming home from big deployments. You know what happened next? We drank and we got into fights.
Yeah, boy.
It was all baby. Germany, man. The police side was beating us up.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, at that time, the army recognized that a lot of us needed a break, so they sent me to the schoolhouse.
Okay. So what schoolhouse do you go to?
I went to Fort Lee, Virginia.
Okay. What are you teaching?
I was actually supporting the fuel and water entity.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. So I was the combat veteran E5, freaking full stock, always going, alcohol pills, everything hurts, alcohol pills. Um, and that's how the schoolhouse was.
Yeah.
I didn't do good there. I mean, my career did really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't doing good,
Yeah. Yeah. So
and I
you're just
needed,
through this time, you're just coping. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
because I remember this because I remember in 2008 when I joined, I felt like all of our instructors were PTSD'd out Iraq
Oh my
vets
gosh,
who were just
yes,
fucking psychotic.
fucking
They
lose
were,
it,
dude,
fucking
they were
lose it.
crazy.
Yeah, I wish my wife was here. She would tell you I was a psychopath.
God. Yeah,
You know,
I
uh,
bet.
uh, but I needed to get out of the school, so I was only there for like a year and a couple of months.
Mm.
I put in a packet to go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So by that time, I got my combat badge, I got my airborne, I got my air sold, I got a bunch of schools. So, yeah, I
So
did really good on Fort Lee, but I was a mess.
yeah, yeah. But I'm guessing at this time you're a mess, but you're telling the command, send me back to Iraq, baby. I'm ready. Let's do it, baby. Come on.
Yeah,
You know?
I was the perfect candidate.
Exactly. Exactly.
After that first deployment, I never did my job ever again.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up doing a BSB, base support battalion in Fort Bragg, 4-7, but I was there. I didn't do well there. There was a lot of clicking. It was a lot of, and I don't, of course, I'm not doing two deployments. I mean, back to back to back,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to deal with people that have never deployed. They don't know what the
Oh,
hell. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
alcohol, drugs, a lot of schools, and then Haiti happened,
Mm,
the earthquake.
mm. Okay. Okay. So y'all go down there doing, I'm assuming, humanitarian stuff.
So that was the idea. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we end up doing there is recovering bodies from
Ah,
gravel. That's what we did the whole time. And crazy enough, we can buy alcohol from the locals. Hey, go get me a bottle of rum. Or we used to go to the rum factory and grab a couple of bottles, and I was drinking from breakfast to dawn.
man. So Haiti wasn't good at all for you.
No, I mean it was the most traumatic deployment I had. I would go to Iraq any day versus going back to Haiti.
Man. Yeah, because that was pretty much like you said. All y'all guys are doing is just recovering dead bodies
Yeah,
all
that's what
day,
we were
every
doing.
day.
And then we were also doing crowd controls because the people, they're hungry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Haiti was a shit show.
Man, I remember a Marine expeditionary unit, like basically a boat. Because when Marines deploy, we either deploy to a combat zone or we deploy on a boat that rides around. That's how we end up going to places like Thailand and stuff. But yeah, no, that I remember the Mew that went down there, and those guys said it was horrible because they were like, dude, all we did was just we were just heloing in supplies, and
Yeah,
then the infantry dudes were just out there doing like what you're talking about,
yeah,
recovering bodies and crowd control.
yeah.
Man, mm, mm.
We had a water point and a fuel point, but I never liked to stay back because that's boring to me. So I was always, okay, let's go outside, let's go deliver this. I think at one point we even took a Land Rover. I was drunk. Uh, my God, yeah. And I
Holy
was
shit!
and I was driving to like a Department of State entity, to drop some people off, but I'm drunk.
Mm.
You know,
Wow.
so
See, you do the Haiti deployment. What year you get back from that?
so that was 2010.
Okay.
We
Okay.
came back. We that was almost 4 months.
Yeah.
As we came back, we redeployed to Iraq right away.
So now this 2010 deployment to Iraq, it's basically the teardown because this is the end, right?
So I left the BSB and I went to command.
Mm,
Right. we created a task force to close down Iraq.
Mm,
So my command, who I was with, we were in charge of taking down Iraq,
man.
closing it down. At that time, my job, I was a I was a driver, and I was a like the bodyguard for the big guy.
Oh yeah, so you're PSD, personnel security detachment,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
Yeah,
So I'm in charge of the PTSD of the right
yeah.
PSD. PSD got their own platoon sergeant. Okay, we leave in this time. This is what we're doing. Boom, 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 boom. So we were doing a lot of meetings, a lot of like high ranking meetings, a lot of embassy. We had a talk with
Hmm.
Department of State. We could, we might or might not have very interesting people working
Mm,
with us. I got to learn, the shadow. I got to learn the BFT. I got to learn um, a lot of classified stuff that we were doing.
that's cool.
And by that time, I had a top secret clearance, and my idea was to go to the Special Forces selection. That was my next step.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, because I ran PSD on the company level. So
yeah,
like when I went to Afghanistan, I was in headquarters because I was an
yeah,
infantry guy, but I was headquarters because I got stuck in the armory. But like
yeah,
when we got to Iraq, or excuse me, Afghanistan, we didn't have an armory.
yeah.
So they were like, "Hey, you're just gonna be the extra infantry dude slash captain's PSD." But every
Yeah.
time we got into a firefight, the captain's like, "Let's go," and we're like, "All right, cool." So like we got to go
Oh,
do a bunch of cool shit, but like
n-
you know,
not the big guy. The big guy like to rock and
no,
roll.
yeah, yeah. I
That's all I'm
mean,
gonna say.
but the good thing is, I mean, you got to use what you knew.
Yeah,
Security, convoys,
yeah, yeah.
threats. So
There was a lot of planning. There was a lot
yeah,
of, working with high-ranking people. General Austin was there. Was one of the people that I was working with. It was, I think, that time a three-star general.
yeah, yeah.
I'm flying these big guys. I got my 9 mil. You know, sometimes we were not wearing the uniform. I mean, it was a very best deployment I ever had. By that time, I'm just a pure monster, 220 pounds,
Mm,
just training to go to SF.
yeah.
I got a top secret, already been to some training, I mean, I'm in my prime.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So what does the wife think? You obviously told her you want to go to selection, or did you not tell her?
Yeah. Oh, she knows
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
since
Okay.
we married. Th-
What's her deal? Is she cool with it, or?
Yeah. She was in the army too.
Oh, that's right.
She ended
Yeah,
up
okay.
joining too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay. When did she join?
With me.
Okay. Now, did y'all's deployments ever conflict?
She never deployed. She's actually
Okay.
might be deploying.
Okay. Okay. That's actually kind of cool though, like I mean, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it was would you recommend that for both spouses to be in the military?
Now, well, this is the deal, right? Uh, I was uh, I was a hothead,
Mm,
and typically when I wanted something, I got it.
yeah.
So a lot of times I was able to maneuver. So she didn't get deployed, but
Yeah.
she wants to deploy. She's been in 25 years now.
Mm, wow.
Yeah,
Man.
but reserve. She was in the reserves, so I
Yeah.
always the military was very good to me and my wife. Okay, yes, there's some stuff that happened. There's the alcohol. People gotta understand alcohol and abusing substance is part of being in the military.
It's in the culture, man.
Yeah. So, we have to understand that, right? So, especially, now spice is a big thing. we're kicking people for marijuana, and we're kicking people off oxy, and we had a crackhead in the freaking, so he got interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that deployment, the best way to describe it was college party in steroids
Mm, mm, interesting.
every night.
Wow.
If you were not working or traveling, you were lifting weights or party.
Or partying. Actually, sounds like a decent time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh my God, we party like maniacs.
Yeah. That's wild. Okay, so you get back from what year you get back from that?
2011.
2011. Okay. So do you go to SF after this?
So, so I have to come back and we have to jump. And I had a airborne incident.
Okay.
We jumped in a very windy thing.
Hmm.
My parachute was all twisted. I pulled my reserve. My reserve didn't open.
Oh
But
shit.
by the time it opened, I was very close. I ended up hitting the ground like stupid, ugly.
Mm.
End up getting another concussion. End up being a TBI. And I just broke my leg, hurt my neck, hurt my back.
Oh shit. Damn.
Yeah. So I end up, having, leg surgery to start with. So that kind of derailed my. I'm
Yeah.
already bummed. By this time I'm an alcoholic. Now they give me pills. Now we're gonna party.
I was about to say, I know that surgery didn't go over well. Not the pill portion
Oh
of
my
it.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It was oh man.
Derailed. You're
So,
probably not in a good headspace.
no,
I can tell you
I'm
right
not.
now you ain't.
No, I wasn't. I ended up going to a field artillery battalion,
Okay.
and I ended up being the ammo NCO, the ammunition.
Mm, okay. Okay.
You know,
How'd that work
uh,
out for you?
I was good. Nobody
Okay.
bothers me.
Yeah.
And I get to blow shit up, so I was doing
Mm,
good.
okay. So
You
you
know,
do that for
and then
another. Go
and
ahead.
then I became the drug guy. I was pissing people.
Oh, you were the I can't remember
Now,
the acronym.
yeah, the UPL.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is actually kind of funny. I was the only UPL, so nobody could attest me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So yeah, I'm over here, doing ammo, doing all this crazy stuff. I'm really good with ammo. Nobody, I'm like the battalion ammo guy.
Yeah.
And I came down on recruiting orders.
Mm. Mm. So where did you take the orders?
I took the orders.
Where'd
It
you go?
was uh, I was scheduled to go to Key West,
Oh shit, dude, that would have been tight.
but my dad was ill with cancer and
Oh
he was
man.
terminal.
Yeah, so you went home.
So I went to Wisconsin. The
Mm.
day I got to Wisconsin, it was a blizzard and my wife didn't talk to me for 3 weeks.
My wife would have did the same thing,
Yeah,
but I'm from Georgia, so it stays
yeah,
hot down here.
yeah.
Man,
It
oof.
was it was a very, it was minus 30 degrees,
God.
with the windshield. It was like, oh my goodness, you know. So this time I'm drinking to sleep. Okay.
Okay, so we're
Okay.
sleeping, but we're drinking to sleep.
Yeah. And then I'm taking pain meds and
Yeah.
sleeping meds to sleep and deal with the pain and all of this.
Mm,
So I
mm,
become a recruiter, and I was actually I'm actually really proud of my recruiting career because I was very honest with people.
yeah. Yeah.
But I also, I was also really good at what I was doing because I loved it.
Yeah.
I had the coolest 20, freaking, I partied like a maniac through my 20s and 30s. I had a family, no debt, everything. I had a great career.
Yeah.
So I used to tell people that, go like, look, and I tell people about PTSD and all of that. And I was honest.
Yeah.
I'm proud that to this day I'm still got families who are friends with me, and I still talk to my people that I put in.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, the thing is you kind of got to. You're kind of like how I am now. When somebody asks me, "Hey, should I join the military?" You kind of did a bunch of different things, and
yeah,
so because I had multiple jobs, I can say, "Look, hey, this is how the wing is.
yeah,
This is how the infantry is." Dude, like if you want to do this, do it this way. Like I'm going to
yeah,
tell you, don't do it this way, don't do
yeah,
that, or do this. And man, like if you can talk to people, which obviously you can,
yeah.
yeah, you were probably a great recruiter, man. Like,
Uh, yeah, I was good, man. I used to live in the schools, and the schools used to love me
I bet.
because if they didn't have substitute teacher, guess who's gonna teach? And I used to teach
Yeah,
substitute, just like, yeah, boom.
that's
So the
awesome.
schools used to love me.
Mm, mm.
To this day, I still talk to the school, and I still have friends who are in the school still teaching.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do your kids go to the schools that you used to recruit at?
My kids are in college, my brother.
Oh yeah, you're older. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. How's that? Is it gonna be great when mom finally get out of the house?
yeah. My kids are great. Again, I was not too great, but I always tried to be a good dad because I went through some stuff
Yeah.
as a child, right? When my dad being a kid. So I really tried to do my best, but at times, I was not the greatest.
Right, but at the same time, like you said,
Yeah,
you knew what it was like to grow up with a
yeah,
dad who had seen some
right,
shit, and and now you're
yeah.
like you said, maybe you still made some mistakes, but you were aware. You were like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm going through, and I need to still be there for for them. That's cool though.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm really blessed because my wife was my punch. I never hit my wife. Okay,
Mhm.
so the term I'm gonna use is gonna be I'm not figurative, right? So,
Right.
but my wife was my emotional punching bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got bad. I mean, she was going to leave me at one point. She said, you need to figure out what's going on, or we're gone because
Yeah.
you are screaming out of your lungs because there's a freaking hairborn in the freaking ground.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
so yeah.
But during this, the time you're a recruiter, is this kind of the worst of, you would say this was probably the worst time?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And you're home. Are you associating with the people you knew before you joined the military or
No,
no? Okay.
no, not really.
Okay.
No,
I figured.
no.
I figured.
I
I
I
just
was all military. That was my life.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, the recruiting office became tight. We used to go golfing and just get sloppy drunk and somehow make it home.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So you finally get out, but you get medically discharged in what,
So,
2019?
this is the way it worked, right? So now I'm losing my mind. Okay, so I ETS out of the active duty army.
Okay,
I end up
gotcha.
going into the Army Reserve into a drill sergeant unit.
Mm. That
And if
sounds like
anybody knows reserves, in 2019, we had a special forces drill sergeant, first sergeant, who was just not good. But we understood it, so we like, here, we like, I got you.
yeah.
So yeah, I really lost that in the reserves.
Mm. Mm.
Really, really
What
did.
what are you doing in when you went to the reserves? What are you doing in your free time? Nothing. You're just
I was a motorcycle rider, so I used to just
ah,
ride motorcycles. I think I was going through jobs, so I started to work for Job Corps,
mhm,
and I was a career development specialist. But again, I don't do well with stupid people,
mm,
so I needed to leave the job because they were honestly cheating the system the way they were running numbers.
mm,
And being
mm.
a recruiter, I became very good at numbers. So
Yeah.
ethically, I couldn't deal with that. And the kids that were in there, they were really, really great kids. They came from bad environments who needed that program. But, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's like I tell people all the time, man. Like sometimes, especially veterans who are going through some shit, we get labeled as, oh, he's a troublemaker, this and
Yeah,
that. But a lot of times, like, dude, a lot of those are some of the best dudes ever.
yeah,
But you can be a great Marine and a shit human being, but
yeah,
you can also be going through some shit and
yeah,
everyone think that you're a terrible dude and be like, no, man, he was a great guy. But it's just like, hey, you don't
yeah,
know what's going on with dudes
yeah.
sometimes.
You
Especially
know,
if you weren't getting help or anything.
yeah. And that's when things start getting really out of control. I mean, I remember I'm in a light, and that now, honks or traffic is messing with me, honking
Mm.
people. I'm living in the city, right? So I'm in a stop sign and start honking on me. And I blacked out.
Oh.
My wife said, pull the guy out, and I put my gun in his mouth.
Oh, shit.
And she's like, taking my gun, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, holy shit. So,
Yeah.
I started going through a lot of flashbacks, IEDs, with the snow hitting the windshield, sleep. At this time, my drinking was just stupid,
Mm.
right? And, I'm bleeding out of my stomach because all the pills that I'm eating.
Oh, shit. Damn.
I'm already in the VA, so the VA gave me a bunch of pills.
Of course. Of course. That's how you fix everything,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So I'm in the reserve. I'm 100% total and permanent.
Mhm.
I'm bleeding out of my stomach, and there was, I lost it. I went to, and pretty much what I find out is that, I'm suffering from depression and severe PTSD. There's some stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
And then, the brain getting a lot of headaches, TBIs. I end up getting neck surgery
Mm.
shortly after that because I was just in stupid pain,
Right.
you know. I'm getting shots in my back, and I'm drinking, so I end up at 19 years, I get medically discharged, and I got my 100% first time goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you get the problem with the pills thing, and I tell people this
mhm,
all the time because I mean civilians
yeah,
who they're like, yeah, man, I'm depressed, and I went to the doctor and they put me on
yeah,
SSRIs, and I'm like, get the fuck off them things. I'm
yeah,
like, dude, I'm telling you right now because probably from experience, and I don't
yeah,
know, I'll let you say, but the problem is that they give you one pill, and then that pill has side effects. So then to counter
mhm,
the side effects of that pill, they give you another pill, and then the side effects of that, and it's on and on and on and on and on. And all of a
yeah,
sudden, next thing you know, you're taking so many pills, you don't even know who you are anymore.
right. So this became interesting because it became a very important part in my life
Yeah.
in which, I always want to know the why.
Hmm.
And I start researching, what's going on in my brain. And I start doing public speaking, and I start studying the brain and asking my doctor and doing stuff here and there, right? And you hit it in the nail about pills, but I also have to say this, and pills are not always bad.
Right. Right.
I'm still taking my mental health pills. If I don't take it, my wife, can tell right away. And her first question is, "Did you take your pills today?"
Interesting.
Because my mood swings, right?
Okay. Yeah.
However, we also found a happy medium in which I'm not taking a handful of pills, yet I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, I got a
sorry
friend
about
who
that.
still takes them.
Yeah,
He still takes
sorry
one,
about that.
and oh no, you're good.
Yeah,
But I can't remember. He takes an SSRI, and
yeah,
I had that same conversation with him, and he told me, he was like, "Look, dude, I went from taking like 9 a day to taking 3."
yeah,
And he was like, "In the 3 I take, it works." And I'm like, "Look, dude, I
yeah,
take 3 pills every day for my back
yeah,
too. So
yeah,
I'm not saying that I don't.
yeah.
It's just, yeah,
But so you gotta understand, like the brain, right? Think
yeah,
about trauma as a bruise that never goes away.
mm,
So it is, your brain is getting bruised, with those memories and the pain. So, sometimes we do need a chemical balance because we've been so disbalanced for so many years. And remember when I tell you it's very important that we go into the go, go, go?
That's what I was about to ask you.
That was the imbalance.
Mm. So that's
So I need,
imbalance.
so to me, yeah,
Yeah.
my brain was not shutting down. I needed to figure out what to shut it down, right?
Right.
So I started working with like Medical College of Wisconsin, for example, all nonprofits. Hey, get outside. And other nonprofits in which we study issues like, for example, moral injury.
Now that's interesting. So you you realized that there was an issue, and so you went and you were being proactive because you were like, dude, look, I don't want to live like this. We need to figure this out.
Remember, I went through that as a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I understood once I put the connections,
Yeah.
it clicked like, oh, I'm being my dad.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of forgiveness began because I was very angry at my dad for many years
Mm.
until it makes sense.
Yeah. That makes yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So that got me more passionate about studying. And again, we do a lot of research with a doctor. They study moral injury, and I do a lot of work with that, a lot of research. I actually hold kind of like classes, kind of like
Yeah.
discussions on topics, but it's all surrounding moral injury because what a lot of people didn't realize is PTSD is one thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's an injury, right? But then you have the moral injury part, which is ultimately is moral based.
Mm-hmm.
Moral injury is morality.
Right.
And we've been told for so many years, child that not killed and all of this. And, we've seen a bunch of people die and I miss my brother. I do not understand why I'm here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm guilt, like what makes me so special.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we're starting talking about that and we're learning that moral injury is just, and we're trying to make it two different things, PTSD and moral injury. We're fighting on that because ultimately it is two things. One deals with, the trauma of war,
Right.
right? But then you have the moral part of it, which is moral injury. And now, a lot of people, moral injury is, let me put, a person that get raped, okay? A lot of times they blame themselves for being in a place, being dressed a certain way, letting a friend into the house. It's always their fault because they got raped, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using, that is moral injury one-on-one right there.
Interesting. Interesting.
You know,
Is survivor's guilt kind of tied into moral injury or no?
yes, it's
Okay.
morality.
Right. Interesting. So
Yeah,
you're going out and you're also doing speaking. So you're at this point you're talking about what's going on.
yeah. And I'm public speaking in the medical college,
Mm-hmm.
speaking to upcoming doctors. I'm doing, talking suicide because I was suicidal at one point. I mean,
Right.
I had a plan on everything.
Man.
You know, so I talk about that, and that was a lot of my healing, at
Yeah.
least from the I want to die part. Now I gotta seek forgiveness for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Cannabis was introduced to me because again, I'm not sleeping, and I'm at this time going to college
Yeah.
and getting my bachelor's in political science. My goal was to go to law school. You know, but the more I studied law, it kind of gave me a nasty feeling in the stomach.
Mm. Now, did you get introduced to cannabis
So
on the medical level? Well,
yeah,
actually, hold on, back. We need to backtrack just for a second, if it's
Mhm.
okay, if
Yeah,
you're willing
go
to
ahead.
talk about it. I'd
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
to ask about. You said that you were suicidal at one point, and the only
Yeah.
reason I want to talk about this is because this is one of the things I'd like to talk about on the podcast because
Mhm.
dudes need to hear it. Um,
Mhm.
what was your? I guess the best way to put this is, why did you not do it? I guess that's my only question.
So science. It
Okay.
sounds stupid, but science.
No, it's a dude. It is.
Um, I've read an article. So I plant. Everything was planned.
Yeah.
You know, let me go back to the suicide attempt. I covered the bathroom with plastic, so whenever I blow my head in the bathtub, my wife doesn't have to clean it.
Man, you had this. Yeah.
As I'm about to put the gun in my mouth, I received a call from my motorcycle club association,
Hmm.
Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association.
Okay. I know exactly who that is. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So there were, it gave me a purpose there.
Yeah.
And that, I got motorcycle and I'm riding. I found like passion on that, right?
Yeah.
So I started going to school. I do a lot of stuff in school. I'm working with veterans now, in school, knowing about their benefits and stuff. Excuse me. But I'm not sleeping,
Mm.
right? So this Navy veteran friend of mine said, "Look, man, you look tired. You are irritated, and nobody can talk to you right now. Take this about." They gave me a gummy. He said, "Take this about 2 hours before you got to go to bed." And I ate the gummy, and I had the best sleep of my life.
Wow. Now, at this point, have you ever done any THC products at all?
Never,
Okay,
never.
same as me, same as me. So, like me growing up,
Hmm.
I demonized weed because I was like,
Yeah,
oh, only
yeah,
thugs smoke weed, dog.
yeah,
Like I'm from the country,
yeah.
but come to find out, all the old men were doing it, and we just didn't know. But anyway,
Yes, my,
like,
my daddy
yeah,
was.
yeah,
Let me tell you something funny. I had the best times with my dad when he was high.
when he was high,
He used to
interesting.
smoke and we used to watch wrestling like WWE. And
Yeah,
that was our time
man,
because he was calm. He wasn't
interesting.
drinking. He was,
Right. So I only say this because you had that night's sleep. So
mm,
I got introduced to it, and the first time I tried it, dude, I got so high. I smoked too much,
mm,
and I was so stoned. But like,
mm,
but when I did it was at the height of my drinking to
yeah,
where this was when I was out. I was a civilian. My wife was like, there. I mean, this was a crazy time. And I'm like you, where I got married at 20,
yeah,
she was 18, and we're still married to
mm,
this day.
right, yeah,
And so like my wife's seen it all, the combat deployments,
yeah.
the everything, the highs, the lows, the all. She knows it.
I gotta say this. The reason drinking was acceptable in the house is because I'm a happy drinker.
Mm,
When I was
mm,
drunk, I was happy
okay.
and I was sociable. So that was the only reason I was drinking so much, right?
Right.
But it got to be too expensive. I was drinking, like literally leaving my job, stopping by the gas station, getting myself I had a Burger King cup,
Hmm.
fill it with Coke, sometimes beers, and just drink. I used to drive 30 minutes, right? And then right before I stop the house, I buy a 40.
Yeah.
That's, by the time I'm
Yeah.
home, the 40 is gone. By that time, my wife had my beer in the fridge and my liquor and I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you try
Uh,
the
yeah.
gummy. You had the
Yeah.
best night's sleep of your life. So what do you say? I'm I just wonder what's your reaction the next day? Do you call this dude and you're like, bro, I need
Dude,
like 10 more of
I
them?
was I was amazed and I just became fascinated
Yeah.
with the plant. And
Right.
and again, I smoke recreationally because it's not legal here. And
Hmm.
I know that sometimes I need to do what's right for me, right?
Right.
And what I found out, I was taking so many pills, I was bleeding out of my stomach. I had ulcers, and I was
Mm,
bleeding out of my ass and my stomach. And I just stopped taking pain meds. Were gone.
yeah.
Literally, I just stopped drinking one day, and it was done.
Man.
And I started studying, cannabis, and I used to, started smoking a joint right before sleep so I can go to sleep. And then I did find enjoyment into it. right?
Right.
Because now I'm sleeping, and then there's the psychedelic part in which allows your brain to work in full spectrum,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now you got that. Now you're seeing things that they were in front of you the whole time, but you're seeing it from a different angle.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a real that's a
Yeah,
really underrated effect of THC and cannabis is the fact is
yeah,
you can, you, so a lot. See, the problem is, and I'm going to ask you about this
mhm,
because this is early on. You're starting
mhm,
it, you're studying the
yeah,
plant. A lot of people will smoke too much in the beginning,
yes,
and then it'll make
yes,
them, instead of
yes,
seeing things from a different perspective, they get anxiety because
yeah.
now they've smoked too much. Because there is a line.
And there's also, the strength.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember how I tell you I'm a go, 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 go?
Hmm.
There's no way in hell I can smoke a sativa without puking.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you're a in the couch guy.
It doesn't do that to me. It just slows me down. I
Okay.
can work.
Yeah.
I can eat because I got intestinal issues. I'm throwing up a lot, right?
Right.
I can eat.
Yeah.
My chronic pain, I don't take no more pain meds.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that cannabis is a natural anti-inflammatory,
That's right.
right? And it also, help with the pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, at one point, I just stopped taking a bunch of anti-inflammatories. I had, ibuprofen here, and this other pill right there, and I gotta take this other pill. I was taking about 20 pills,
Wow. Man.
and I'm down to two mental health, two diabetes, and two for the stomach.
Wow. So you have, I mean, yeah, that's a hell of a drop. That's a hell of a
Yeah,
drop. So now,
my yeah.
do you are how long does it take you when you first start this process? Do you still drink or
No, I
okay,
really don't have the need. I love bourbon.
okay,
Like the other day I went to a bar, a restaurant, and it was a bourbon club, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this
yeah,
really expensive bourbon,
yeah,
and that's what I enjoy. But it was
okay.
not like I got drunk. I don't drink to get drunk anymore.
That's interesting because see, so that's kind of where I'm at. So the
Mhm.
more and you see the thing is I don't so I like my thing about it is I like to smoke at night because I have
Yeah,
back problems. I got a herniated disc. And so
yeah,
for me, it's like because I'm already going to wake up hurting.
mhm,
So, but for me, it'll help
yeah.
me relax. I don't like to get super stoned because
No,
that's just, I don't like that feeling. So it
yeah,
just kind of chills me out. And I might have a glass of bourbon. I got a couple bottles of bourbon, but over
yeah.
time, what it did for me was it made me to where I was just like, I don't even want to drink anymore. Like
Right. Yeah,
that's how it
you wake up
happens.
feeling like shit.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know but I do enjoy a very good beer sometimes, and I
Yeah.
enjoy bourbon, and but give me a double neat and I'm good
Yeah.
for the whole night.
See that it's the difference between used to where when you hit the like for me when I used to
Mhm.
open a beer or alcohol, it was like you know how we were
Yeah,
talking about like the 100% go. It
yeah.
was like as soon as you opened it, it was like here we go,
Oh,
baby. Yeah,
and I warn people. I go like, don't get me started, man, because I
yeah,
was party like a maniac, and then I pay for the next 3 days.
yeah.
You
We're
know,
getting too old for that shit.
yeah. But I smoke early in the morning with my
Hmm.
coffee. It's kind of like my meditation time.
Right.
And then I shower because I don't like the smell on me. I think it's unprofessional,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I shower every time I smoke. It's kind of funny, but I also have found enjoyment in
Yeah.
smoking. I like
Yeah.
going for walks with my dog and smoke a doobie on. And honestly, I have never gotten. I mean, they asked me, and I got a lot of police friends, and they go like, "Look, nobody gives a shit. As long as you don't do nothing stupid,
Yeah.
nobody cares."
Yeah. And so what's your opinion on I mean, I know that you said in the beginning
Mhm.
that your opinion is see, I'm torn on this because I don't mind it recreationally,
Yeah.
I still think is less dangerous than alcohol, though. Yeah, yeah.
Hold on. There's no doubt. There's no doubt here. Okay, but we have to learn from the past.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, we need to know, the negative effects and the positive effects before we open up to the public. I mean,
Yeah,
look at what happened with Oxy, for example. A whole town got destroyed with Oxy in West Virginia.
yeah,
Okay, because they were told only 1%. So that's where I'm at with that, right? And then there's mental health part, right, in which people can freak out, can
hmm,
have prior dispositions in
yeah,
which cannabis can aggravate that.
yeah, yeah,
However, studying has showed that most people that got affected with cannabis that way are people that abused it,
yeah, yeah.
right? That smoke like can you like an ounce a week or an
Hmm.
ounce every you know what I mean, like they
Yeah,
abused it, right?
yeah,
And that's what research has shown, that a great bulk of those people had prior dispositions.
yeah. I'm at the point now where I know some people that smoked from like the time they were like 15 all the way to now. And you can see the long term effects of them abusing it. And these are people that smoke. When I mean they smoke, I mean they'll smoke 2 or 3 joints a day.
Well, I
And
mean,
we're talking that's a. I
yeah,
mean, that's a
yeah,
because like for somebody like me. Now
yeah,
then again, I don't have a low tolerance for it.
yeah,
Is like for me, it's like I could take some one hitters or whatever.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And then sometimes through the day, when I'm having, like I need to sit down and work, the one hit or two, but I typically smoke like 2 grams a day.
Mm, yeah.
One in the morning, one at night. Again, I enjoy. So sometimes, just I moved to outside of the city because the city was messing with my
Mm.
head.
Oh yeah.
So now I got property, and I just cut my grass. I love cutting my grass,
You're a
right?
grass guy.
Yeah. The grass gotta look good, man. Um, but that's what I do now. I study all the stuff. I'm very versed in politics. It's kind of a hobby of mine. Um, you know, uh, um, I do study, the brain, and I do stuff with Medical College of Wisconsin. And I do a lot of stuff. At one point, I was the director for Veterans Upper Bound. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard of that?
No.
No, Veterans Upper Bound is you went through TAPS, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Veterans Upper Bound has the potential to be a TAPS if they manage it correctly.
Okay. Okay.
And when I had it in college, and I'm gonna speak for myself, that's how I treat it. I treat it like a TAPS for veterans who's transitioning into post-secondary education.
Okay.
Because what I found out about post-secondary education, I mean, you're getting paid a pretty decent penny,
Hmm.
right? While taking, 2, 3 classes, and you can go to the doctor and take care of your mental health and figure out who you are outside of the military.
Yeah. Yeah. So what? Yeah. That leads me into a great point.
Yeah.
You that this is the problem, and this is one thing that I like to talk about on here
Mhm.
is that we know who we were in the military.
Mhm.
We had developed our an identity, right?
Yeah.
But then the one of the crisis that veterans have is when they get out, they don't know who they are anymore.
Yeah.
They don't. You know.
Yeah. I call that layers of identity,
Okay.
because we can have multiple identities. Like I'm a veteran.
Right.
That's not my main identity. My main identity is a husband and a father.
Hmm.
Then and I'm American. I'm a Christian. So there's layers of identity, layers that makes me who I am.
Hmm.
a lot of time we have to sit down and realize that we are not 20 no more. We are
Hmm.
not in the core no more. Yes, you are. You always will be a Marine. You always will be a Marine, and that's going to be part of your identity. But it's being different than being a combat Marine,
Yeah.
or a Marine on active duty deployed and training to, you know, take heads off. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're in a different stage, and we need to figure out who are we, and how am I going to move forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
because we're not going to move forward, thinking that we live in, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
you know
That's I love to talk about that because we always say that like we peaked. We peaked in
Yeah,
our 20s. We did something that less than 1% of the population will
yeah.
ever do. Awesome shit, riding in helicopters, doing all kinds of cool
Dude,
stuff.
I've rappelled out of helicopters and jumped out of planes. Who freaking does that as a career?
Exactly. Exactly. But then the problem is when you get out and that
Slowing
dude
down.
at the that dude at the gas station tells you to go fuck yourself, and you're like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of that guy. Does he know who I am? Well, guess what, dude? No one cares who you are anymore, because at the end of the
Exactly.
day now, you're not that guy anymore. So
Yeah,
but that dude, people can't let that go. And my
yeah,
biggest piece of advice is make yourself somebody that you're proud of today, that your
mm,
kids will be proud of, that your wife
right,
will be proud of, and that your family, because this is a different portion of your life, and you've
yeah,
got to be the best you can be, and you can still be as badass as this,
yeah,
but just doing what you do now, you
yeah,
know. And there's nothing wrong with being proud of what you did. Hell yeah,
yeah,
I'm proud. That's the reason I do this podcast. So talk to you guys
right.
about all the crazy stuff y'all guys did. But the thing
Mhm.
is like, you got to move on, man.
Yeah,
And
and and to me, moving on, it was more than understanding that I'm not that fast and that strong.
yeah.
It is accepting that I went through some shit. I see people. I mean, I got 26 names. I don't know if you see it in my arm, right? I got 26 names here.
Oh yeah, I can see
Those
that.
are
Yeah.
people. Those are people that teams of mine, that passed away in Iraq, that
Mm,
I seen,
yeah.
stuff that's gonna haunt me,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad. I knew what I was getting myself into, and
Hmm.
that's what I tell. When I was a recruiter, I tell everybody, I go, look, no matter what job you pick, okay, you need to know how to use that rifle, because if shit hit the fan, it's on you, baby.
Yeah.
And shit will hit the fan. That is the job.
Hmm.
Okay, when you join the armed service, your job is to deploy and either support or kill bad motherfuckers.
Hmm.
Period.
Yeah. But that's why the Marine Corps is every Marine's a rifleman. We send
Yeah,
every Marine, no matter what your job is, no matter if you a pencil pusher in
yeah,
headquarters, you are going to learn at least the first 2 weeks of squad infantry or school of infantry.
yeah,
And the reason is because you never know. In Vietnam, they did
yeah.
it all the time. You
Yes, I
know.
mean, early Iraq, look what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Look at you. You're a great example. You know.
You know, it was kind of like, throwing into the pool. Hope we can swim, but they gave us, a crash course. We spent like 6 months in the field, and 90% of that is doing maneuvers and convoys and clearing homes and shooting. I honestly did not do my job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we went to Iraq, that was in our mind. This is what we're gonna do, right?
Right.
But coming back from Iraq, okay, I was already my mind was already tainted, because I know what these kids are going to walk into.
Mm.
So when I was working with these kids, again, I'm getting ready for SF. I'm doing a bunch of schools already in Fort Lee, Virginia. I'm doing NCO of the year, which I won. I'm doing a
Nice.
bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I'm also teaching, the incoming, and in back of my head, I know that the shit show that you're gonna go into, you
Hmm.
know, when you deploy, because you will deploy.
Right.
So I was very, I go like, look, you're gonna run fast. You're gonna lift heavy. If you cannot carry me, I do not want you in my team. And a lot of people did not like working for me,
Right.
but the people they did, they knew one thing, that once you're in my team, you're my kid.
Yeah.
I will die for you.
Right.
I'm your counselor. Uh, uh, um, I'm everything that you need.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you down because you're mine. Like that, right? And
It's
that's the
that.
kind of
Yeah, that's that thing I was talking about when I said that
yeah,
I knew some guys who were great Marines, but they were
yeah,
shitty humans. And I'm not
yeah,
saying that you were, but I'm just saying that like I knew some Marines that they would kill to protect any
yeah.
of their junior Marines. But outside of that, as a husband, as a father during that time, they wasn't
I,
good.
I
You
could I
know.
could have been I could have been a lot better. I
Yeah.
was mean to my wife. I was at times mean to my kids.
Yeah.
And is how I dealt with my depression. My depression came out in anger,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was self-medicating with pills and alcohol for 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know,
Man.
uh, uh, um, but that's reality. That's the reality of war. And I
Yeah.
wish you had more time because again, I love politics. It's kind of always been my hobby. But with politics, I became I study a war. I don't know if you ever go to my Facebook and you see the things that I put in, but it's like war is not what people think.
Yeah.
It is not what people think. It is not, hey, go, 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 go. It's a lot of hurry up and wait and hope you don't get shot,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
But when shit happens, and it's going to happen, you
Mhm.
gotta understand that is the job.
Yeah. So when so you get you get all the way to the point where now you're, like you said, you've been to college, you're now teaching other people, you're
Yeah,
you're helping with studies on veterans. What advice would you give veterans that are listening to this podcast that may be stuck back where you were when you were still on pills and alcohol? What
yeah,
advice would you give those guys?
man. There's a light. There's a light in the end of the tunnel, man. I know you wake up sick every morning. Your stomach hurts, you're probably puking blood. Okay, but you continue doing it. Go look for help. That's what I would tell folks, right? Talk to your body buddy. A lot of my troops, they still call me.
Mm,
They're still, and again, I'm very close to my soldiers. I was not the easiest person to get along with because I demanded literally perfection
mhm,
because I'm going home to my wife and my kids, and I'm gonna take them home to their family. So my mind, I always trained as we were going to freaking rock and roll.
mhm.
You know, some people do not like that because
You're
that's why.
you're a great example. You are
Yeah,
a perfect example of I've had I say people ask me, "Oh, well the Marine Corps is crazy. Like you guys yell at each other all the time."
yeah,
And I'm like, "Listen, that discipline serves a purpose. That
yeah.
discipline, the purpose of the discipline and hazing to an extent, there's a
It's
too
still
far.
there's yes,
There's an extent, but it's to make sure that when I tell you something, you do it
yeah,
right now because it will save your life. Instant
and that
obedience to orders.
and that's how it is in my house. And not obedience to me, but my son is older, my daughter's older. They gotta help around the house. If I ask you to do something, that means do it now because
Yeah,
you're gonna forget, and I'm gonna get pissed off, and I'm gonna go off, and you're gonna get mad at me.
yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So yeah, but going back to people transitioning, the biggest failure the military does do, okay, it's not giving the troops the opportunity, right? It's assuming that we can switch our brain in a 5-day task,
Yeah,
right? Now they train us for minimum 9 weeks, right?
right.
Minimum, right? constantly every day putting into your brain that you're not civilian no more. You boom, boom,
Hmm.
and then I have to learn to be a civilian again in what 30 days.
Exactly. Yep.
That does not make sense. I think that's one of the biggest failures. And
Yeah.
their tools are out there. I'm telling you, man. I was telling people and folks about, there's only post 9/11. I go like, no, there's so much money for veterans to go to school. It is stupid. It's just people don't look for it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, I got a master's. I got in a business, an executive MBA,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
And I end up leaving uh, um, veteran super bound because again, I was not good.
Yeah.
Things starting to, I went through some stuff in my life. I lost my dad to cancer finally in 29, but sounds bad in 2020.
Mm.
He passed. No, I'm sorry, 2024 he passed.
Okay.
You know, and that was pretty hard. So I left work and now I'm retired in a sense. I still do need to work. I do a lot of consulting. A lot of veterans call me all the time.
Yeah.
You know, uh, um, but I just cut my grass and keep my house clean.
Yeah. do you you're obviously the kind of guy, if from what I understand so far, is
Mhm.
you got to stay busy
Yeah, to an extent.
to an extent.
To an
Yeah.
extent. I also because I was go 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 for so many years, I enjoyed slowing down.
Okay. That's
Right.
great.
So right now I live in the state forest in the country, and I love the slow life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, in the summer, I got my garden. I do this. I still go do my talks. I still do my podcast for the cannabis. You know, and I'm not doing it out of malicious. I don't do nothing out of malicious. I have found
Hmm.
that internal peace that a lot of people are lacking, and it took what is it over 10 years to find, and I'm not fully there yet. It's gonna
Right.
take time.
What's
You
your
know,
what's your opinion on outside? Because see, I tell people this farm, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of
yeah.
physical labor, but being outside, being on, in the country, because I live on a 400-acre farm, so I feel you. And it's just like, dude, it's life changing. I think it helped heal me, to an extent.
Meaning the outside,
Yeah,
like civilian.
just being out in nature. No, just being out
Oh,
in
oh
nature.
no, that's my happy place.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, yeah,
That
yeah,
that is my happy place. That's why I hate my motors. I got four-wheelers.
yeah,
That is my happy place, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I thought you were talking about being outside, meaning like like
No.
leaving the military.
Yeah,
It sounds
yeah,
like
no.
like getting out of jail.
Yeah, being on the outside.
I'm outside now, brother.
Yeah.
No, no, I really do love the outside. I really, it's my happy place.
Yeah.
One of my biggest issues is the malicious intent out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to get political or nothing, right? And you're right. But I was watching the killing of that lady yesterday. That 38-year-old lady in
Okay.
Minnesota. They got shot by ICE, right?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. So she got shot by ICE, and it looked like she backed up and then she went really fast forward. But the guy that was in front of the car was the person that shot. A
Right.
lot of people say, you execute her, she was not going to kill you. But then, I go back in my time because we were doing a lot of, checkpoints, and
Mm-hmm.
some of my peers were run over.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going back to that, if I'm in front of that car, and I'm asking you to, turn off the car and get out, and you don't do it and you accelerate, my mind is going to go into,
Yeah.
fight or flight. I'm going to survive and I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
So my point in saying that is I feel that sometimes people do not understand how you think
Mm-hmm.
because they think differently.
Yeah. Well,
right?
they've never been put in that situation.
Right.
Y-
And not
y-
only that, they cannot respect you,
yeah.
and they cannot respect your beliefs, right?
Hmm.
And although I consider myself to be a conservative hippie, okay, I also got that older side of me,
Yeah.
right? That I know it, it is that easy to switch,
Yeah.
and you know, am I capable of shooting somebody and not feel nothing? Very, very likely,
Yeah.
especially if you fuck with my family.
Hmm.
So for me being out here, it means that nobody's fucking with me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nobody comes to my house, nobody
Yeah.
drive up, no,
Up the road.
you know,
Yeah.
uh, it's well known, that if you do and you're gonna start shit, I am too old to fight you,
Yeah. I'm just gonna shoot
okay,
you. Yeah.
and I am a great shot,
Yeah.
okay. I'm really, I'm honest about it, I do not want to be messed with. I treat people the way I want to be treated. The
Hmm.
last thing I need is somebody, I'm not going to tolerate that because that's not who I
Yeah. Yeah. I my per my I follow I follow politics only because I do follow them. I follow them pretty
Yeah,
closely. I keep them off of here for an obvious reasons because too many
yeah,
other. But
yeah,
one thing that I will say about that, without getting into it, is I tell guys all the time, bro, just take a break from it. Like you don't
yeah,
have to know everything that's going on,
yeah,
and sometimes that can be bad for you. To
yeah,
just constantly get in that mindset. You know exactly what I'm talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
because
No, yes. Sometimes I gotta back up, and I think it's
yeah,
coming, with all of this, with the person shooting, and I understand, why the person got shot. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
could have been handled differently,
yeah.
100%,
Right. Yeah. But
right?
I like the saying two things can be true at once. Okay.
Yes.
And the problem is society as a whole today feels like their opinion is the right way, and anything not is not. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, two things can be true at once. I mean, I've almost got to the point where I could give a shit about either side. I'm just
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm living my life. I've dealt with enough shit. I've seen enough shit that I'm just like, bruh,
Yeah.
don't,
And, no, I'm with you 100%. I'm
yeah,
with you, like I consider myself a conservative. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat.
yeah, yeah. I think we're
I'm a,
probably about the same.
I'm very center, very conservative.
Yeah,
Let me be let alone.
yeah.
Just if transgenderism is what you want to do, go do it. It's your fucking business. Now, don't push it down my throat because that's gonna turn to a different.
That's right. Yeah, I mean,
You know,
like the problem is I really wish, I really wish that we could just, I don't
yeah,
know, man. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's just so hard. And the problem is,
it is.
when we were in the military. Yeah, let me ask you this question because I just talked to my therapist about this today because I literally had a therapist appointment
Yeah.
today, and we were, for some reason we jumped on this bandwagon, and I said, the problem is in the military, I could probably have picked out the Democrats and the Republicans. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You
I,
probably
I never
could
did.
have,
I never
but
did.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even though you could have, no one ever talked about it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that shit.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
matter what color you were. It didn't matter what language you spoke. None of that shit mattered.
I think that was the toughest lesson I got.
Yeah. Interesting.
Racism. I never experienced racism.
Oh, okay.
I do not believe in racism. And the
Okay.
reason I never experienced racism is because I was short tempered. I would punch in your shit. Everybody knew me.
Yeah.
There were people that I served with that were, openly about, being, neo-Nazi and
Mm,
openly. But once bullets start flying, all of that goes out of the window,
that's right.
right?
Yeah.
So, becoming a civilian and seeing the people, like, oh, it's racial, but no, it's not. It is stupid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is stupid. Okay. Like, it is 2025,
Yeah. Yeah.
26. All
Yeah.
right. We have had a black president,
That's right.
a female VP. I'm a Hispanic man who's pretty successful. I
Yeah.
live in a pretty wealthy house,
Yeah.
and none of my failures were nobody's fault but mine.
Mm. Mm.
Right. And I have that issue because I think, that's one of the biggest setback in the minority community is that it is the poor me days. I was born in a, black and slavery and
Yeah.
all this good stuff, but failed to realize that my ancestors were slaves, right? I fucking don't know my ancestor. They
Yeah.
were still slaves. Well, I don't know who the fuck they were,
Yeah.
right? That did not affect any of my choices. What
Nice.
affect my choices, okay, what 99% my doing and 1% coincidence.
Right. Right.
And I think, as soon as the minority, Hispanics, although a lot of Hispanics thinks like me, and I met a lot of blacks who
Yeah.
are thinking like me. I have met a lot of whites who don't think like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are, and it's like, what are you crying about? You like, you know, it was a very hard thing for me to accept
Yeah.
that loyalty and duty, is just another word out here.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing, man. Because like I was just talking to a guy about this the other day. Actually, the episode before you, which it might not come out before you because we had a connection issue, so we
Yeah.
got to finish that. But, but we were talking about this is because like I live in the southeast, so half
Yeah.
my county was black, half was white. So when I
Yeah.
joined the military, when in the Marines, I got sent to the West Coast. I stayed on
Yeah.
Pendleton in California the entire 8 years. Well, 8 years in California.
Yeah.
But dude, like so, like the only Hispanics I know knew growing up were like the three Hispanic dudes, and one of them owned the Mexican restaurant in town. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like a really
Yeah.
small country town. And so, like when I went to like California, I was like, oh shit. And then you got guys in the Marine Corps who were like kind of Hispanic in a way that like they're like, oh yeah, let me tell you about like Cholo, because they're like, hey, let me tell you about this and that. And it was funny because then you call like a Puerto Rican dude Mexican, and then he's like,
Oh,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
kill
fight.
you.
Oh, we're going to fight. Yeah. Yeah, but that's what it was, just fun.
Yo,
Fun,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
right? Like I said, when I went to basic training, now he was my battle buddy. He was homosexual. Oh, he is homosexual.
Okay.
I know the whole time. I mean, he was like open about wanting to sleep with me, and I'm like, dude, not my thing, bro. But if that's what you want to do, man, I respect you. I love you.
Right.
Some people that have served in the infantry unit in Germany came out as transgender.
Wow.
I don't give a shit.
Right.
In fact, if anybody, I will fight anybody who tells me, that no, that's the right.
Yeah.
So please respect my right to disagree with you, and that's America.
Exactly. That's the experiment.
I do have to say, I was very blessed because I grew up in a military community. Now, again, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of party, Vietnam veterans, but they were white, black, brown, Chinese, all of it.
Yeah.
So I never, I can go as far as to say I never really thought racism was a problem, even as a kid.
Yeah, bro, you see that the thing is like it's funny because I seen it obviously because I had some I never really cared for it, but I had some white friends, and I'm not gonna lie that there were some times where I was like, man, fuck them motherfuckers, but like the problem is like really quickly in the Marine Corps I began to realize that, and it's like you said, it shows what humanity can become.
Right.
Like if the military in its most pure form, like you said, when bullets start
Mhm.
flying and everyone's just like, you're human and I'm human and you're the good guy. Let's fucking do this. You know what I
And
mean?
and it's not even being a good guy or the bad guy because honestly, some people were the bad guy in Afghanistan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is about the person to my next, to my left, and to my right,
Yeah.
and in front of me and behind me. That's all it is about.
Yeah.
Okay, going home alive. I'm gonna be honest. If going home meant that I would have to do some war crimes, you know what I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
you know that we even said that. And one dude said that on this podcast one time, and I agreed with it. He was like, if you were a dude and they lived in Iraq or Afghanistan, and a foreign military come in there, you didn't understand the politics of it,
yeah,
and then they
yeah.
killed your cousin, would you have picked up a rifle and went to war? Hell yeah,
Two
you would
things can
have.
be true.
That's
Two
right.
things can be true.
That's
You
right.
know, so I tell people, there's two sides to the coin.
Yeah.
What I tell people, especially in marriage, I go like, there's three truths. There's yours, there's mine, and there's what really happened. Right?
That's
You're
good.
gonna have your truth because that's your perception.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna have my truth because I got my perception.
Mm-hmm.
But 99% of the time, all arguments are misconceptions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna finish up with this.
Yes.
I want to talk about this. So you first of all, for those of you who didn't hear, and I will talk about it here at the end just to make sure you plug it. But you've been doing a podcast, Veterans for Cannabis.
Right.
Okay. So you've been trying to get the word out there, but I want to touch one last subject. So you've talked about the trauma. You've talked about all this. You've done. It's been a long road, dude. Retrospectively, you look back. Do you and your wife ever now talk about like how you used to be? Do you ever sit down and have that conversation?
Yeah, when I don't drink my meds, or when I don't smoke my morning weed.
Okay.
We actually kind of laugh about it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome, dude. That's the way to do it. Hell
okay.
Yeah.
And people often ask me, do you regret anything? I go like, no, man, I had the coolest 20 and 30s, baby. Like, like a fucking movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
So, there's there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of things that I wish I would have, not done different, but change.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe do not touch the ID, maybe, right? But there's nothing we can change. We need to accept it and just be in peace with it.
Right.
Whether it was wrong, whether it was right, in the end, it was about the man or the lady to your left and your right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've always said that I wouldn't go back and change a thing, even the hardships, everything, because it made me who I am today.
Right.
And who I am today can now help other people because I learned those lessons and I worked through those issues. And
how old are your kids?
God, I'm gonna get this wrong. 5 and 8, I think.
Okay, you're gonna notice this, man. Once they get older, they're gonna try to do things their own way. And when daddy says, "Don't do it like that because you're gonna get hurt," I'm gonna do it this way, and they get hurt. I don't know about you, but I used to give them the look.
Yeah, yeah.
My son, to this day, he goes like, "I don't want to talk about it." My son listens to me a lot. Like we have my daughter. We have a very strong relationship. And my wife.
Yeah.
They have. I think they call me like a psychic because I can see shit happen. I just like I just maybe because I was just he often goes like, "How do you?" I go like, "With time, you're gonna do so much stupid shit." That it doesn't matter what generation you came out, the stupid shit that we do now, it was being done freaking 200 years ago.
That's right.
Okay, the only difference is we got different tools and we got technology.
That's right. That's
okay?
right.
if we don't learn from our mistake, we're gonna do the same shit again. It come with politics and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell folks. I go like, look, the first time is a mistake. Your first time is a mistake.
Hmm.
The second time is a fuck up.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, um, you know,
Yeah.
that's
It's funny because my kids sometimes I'll catch, you know what I'm saying? Where
mhm.
you're there before they even do it or when they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they're like, how did you know? And you're like,
Go like,
because I did the same shit, man. Like yeah, I was you.
yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
no. Yeah, but it's
You're like,
funny because
okay,
now my oldest will
mhm,
either say like, cause I do this podcast and when I do it, I'm like, hey, y'all need
yeah,
to get out of the, and
yeah,
so I'll sequester them or whatever. But, they'll ask me, they'll be like, oh, are you doing another podcast again about the war back in the day? And I'm like, you make
like
me
back
sound
in the day.
back in the day.
Lord, I was watching a movie the other day from the 2000s, and my son goes like, "Yeah, that's an old ass movie." I'm like, Transformers, the first one. I'm like, what?
Bro.
Yo, like I'm not that old. Damn.
Bro, we're halfway to death, bro.
Yeah.
We're there.
I live every day like it's my last, man. So,
Mm,
you
mm,
know,
that's awesome.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
You had it, man. You've been, God, dude. I mean, great story, man. Like
yeah,
I mean, you just, and I think that it's cool. It's always cool. It's cool to sometimes talk to veterans who are still kind of
mm,
in the thick of it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Because you're kind of like, hey, they're like, I still got a problem. I
mm,
still drink too much or whatever.
mm,
But it's also cool to talk to the guys who they have, not saying we're completely figured it out,
right,
but you know what I mean? Like we are
mhm,
self-aware of your limits, where you went wrong and you know where you
mhm.
need to go, you know?
you know,
Um,
it has to do with being comfortable in your shoes, right?
that's right.
And we said it earlier. A lot of times we just don't want to change.
Hmm.
So no matter how hard we have it, we do not want to change, right? Because we're still this, badass 20-year-old, and I can do all that shit. I can drink all night and party all money, and then you miss your next day of work because you fucking have a hangover.
Exactly.
You are you are not 20 people.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's time to it's time for your next stage. Figure out
Yeah.
who you are and where you want to be in 10 years and work
Mhm.
toward that.
Yeah. Yeah. And taking care of yourself, you can still be physically fit is
Yeah.
it to an extent, is for injuries, but like the thing is you could take care of yourself, but you're not running and gunning no more, dude. You passed the torch. There's another generation of warriors out there and they're banging dudes or girls in Thailand and all kinds
Yeah.
of crazy shit. They're that's
Doing shit that I was doing 25 years ago,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Like it's like our time's done, bro. Like we
Yeah.
passed it, and
Yeah. Um,
so you got veterans for cannabis. Do you have a website too?
um, we we got a Facebook um profile. We don't got a website yet. It's being actually worked on as we speak.
Okay. Okay. I think I found the link to it. The only reason, but I'm
Okay.
not I'm not gonna throw it out there because it ain't
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Okay. So your Facebook is Veterans for
Yeah.
Cannabis,
For cannabis. Yeah.
and you got a
Veterans.
podcast that you do.
Uh, yeah. We put it on YouTube. We put it on the same thing. We use the same program.
Oh, y'all use
Um,
Riverside? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we in YouTube we getting a little more organized,
Mhm.
but the idea is to share experiences, what works, what doesn't work. Medicine is not a one fix all,
Mhm.
and we need to open our eyes to that, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like what I want to bring up in Veterans for Cannabis. Veterans is not for everybody, but different aspect of cannabis do have different remedies. You know, there are gummies now. With like 5% THC and a little bit to sleep,
Mhm.
and people use it great.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that use the oils underneath their tongues.
Right.
You know, again, it's not a one fix all, but it is an alternative option to a lot of the traditional narcotics big pharma
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah. And I agree with what you said earlier. There are certain pharmaceuticals that are that if
Yeah,
and you can take some and that's no issue. Like
yeah,
there are certain things that hey man, if cannabis works for this and that and
mhm,
it doesn't work for this, that's cool. Cuz like the
yeah,
thing is I can't smoke all day because I have a
right,
job. And
right.
so like I have to take a muscle relaxer and a gabapentin every single
Yeah.
day.
So
It's,
and yeah,
you know.
yeah, and that's what's crazy about cannabis and medicine too, right? It is that for me, I'm very routine,
Yeah.
so my body is like it's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't take like I mean I got a neck fusion. I have to go to get another one,
Mm,
but I mean it is what it is. But I do not use no payments. And if I do, it is extremely bad.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so there's escalations to my payment, right? It is, okay, my neck hurts. Let me smoke a little bit. Let me see how I feel.
Yeah.
Okay, doesn't feel too good. Okay, I got a muscle relaxer. Boom, that's the next one.
Yeah.
Then the next one is, okay, let me go to the ER and get a shot. That's when
Right.
it's bad, right? So there's escalations, but not, you know, it's not right away going into the narcotics.
Right.
I
Yeah.
try to stretch it first, down workout, I do a little oil. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's like, dude, like that's my thing too, is like I'm on like a health kick. I've been on it for
Yeah,
years. I do cold plunging.
I
Uh
do too. Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, man, like for those of you
Inflammation.
veteran, dude, the people that are listening, I'm telling you right now, it sounds crazy to go and jump into a tank of water with ice in it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you have
Yeah.
never did anything that will wake your ass up like that for the next hour or so.
But, but you know that cold plunge is actually one of the greatest tools to learn how to control your anxiety and your breathing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did some research on it. Do
Yeah.
you also do you do a sauna too? Red light sauna?
I do have a sauna here too,
Yeah, they're great.
you know?
They're great.
Yeah.
But also like there's other things, like if guys are looking for alternative things, I'm not gonna recommend anything in
Yeah.
particular, but there's peptides, there's all kinds of stuff out there,
Yeah.
man, like you don't.
There's outdoors group.
Mhm.
There's motorcycle associations. There's always things to do, and I think being the fellowship is
Mhm.
one of the most important things.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's honestly like the problem is like all my veteran friends live in
Mhm.
other states. So for
Right,
me, like this podcast is great for me because it's
right,
just, I get to talk to all you cool dudes and man, I get to, hear all these insane stories. So
right.
it's cool for me, man. Like it actually helps me because I'm like, I mean,
Yeah,
just getting to talk to all y'all and, it's kind of like therapy for me sometimes. So, but,
but and I appreciate you having me, man. I really hope somebody can take something out of this of what you're doing.
yeah,
I think you're doing a great thing, man. But fellowship, that's what I tell people, man. Fellowship. You're not alone. It
yeah.
feels like it, but you're not.
Yeah, the problem is we get in our own head. So I think the lesson here is reach out, call somebody, and it's like I
Yeah.
tell people, man, like my Facebook, it's out there, it's connected to
Yeah.
my link tree. Like if any of you guys, I mean, message me, bro. If I don't message you back, I will the next day. Like if
Yeah.
you say it's an emergency, I will message you back. Now, if you just message me and I'm taking a few days off from social media, I might not message you back. But if you
Right.
say, hey, I need something, I got you. Like
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
but all right, man. I think I'm gonna wrap it up here, man. But I appreciate you coming on and do you have anything you want to say, final plug anything?
No, I think we said everything that we needed to say. Just don't give up. 22. I think we're down to 20. Still way too many. And if you
Yeah.
don't know what I'm talking about military suicide. Okay, one is
Yeah.
too many. So again, if you have thoughts, reach out. Worst, 988. That's the emergency call, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just don't give up, man. We still need you. That's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll see the rest of you guys next week. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks.
brother. Thank you.
All
Peace.
right.